Why in the world is a tobacco plant the key ingredient in a new skincare product that's going to minimize and repair skin damage? Let's get into this. The Ordinary has just released their new product on January 7th, the GF 15% solution, GF standing for growth factors. This is a really big deal because number one, it's affordable. Number two, it's plant-based. This is a native plant to Australia. It is called Nicotiana benthamiana. I think I said that correctly. And there's 3 growth factors in this solution that are the key ingredients, all based from this plant. And I mentioned the 3 key ingredients. I'm going to list all the ingredients on the screen. EGF, TGF, IGF are the growth factor peptides that are derived from that nicotine plant. They are key to this whole entire product. And also the other ingredients, I researched each of them and they do not irritate someone with acne or fungal acne or breakout prone skin, and my skin gets congested really easily. So just so you know, so far I haven't had any issue with this, but also all the ingredients do not encourage any type of breakouts to your skin. Knowing that this product was going to be released on the 7th, I did a bit of research on growth factors, not only with what the Ordinary's growth factor product has to offer, but all of them in general. And the reason why I never really used them before is because they're just not in my price range. I found the most common popular brands from $117, $135, $175, and over $200. These are just not something that's really affordable for me. This being $15.50 for the 30 ml 1 ounce bottle. It's the usual size of their bottles. If you're familiar with their products, it's the common size you'll see within all of their ranges. There's some larger bottles for like hair care products and etc. But for the skincare, that's a common size. $15.50 is pretty good for 1 ounce with this type of product. I did find some Korean brands that were around $25. I just am not familiar with them, and I'm also not familiar with all the ingredients. And knowing that this one is plant-based, no animal usage, and also no animal testing was a really good draw for me to start. So let's get into what this product is about and why you would use it. On their website, they say this is an age support serum containing 15% solution of growth factors to help minimize and repair visible skin damage to regenerate the look of aging skin. This happens when the regular use of GFs interact with receptors on the surface of skin cells, triggering crucial healing processes. This is also water-based. It has no oils. It's for all skin types. It's vegan, gluten-free, and contains plant-based factors, non-animal or human. That is great news. So if you don't want anything that's going to irritate your skin, irritate your acne, if you have bright breakouts, blemish-prone skin like I do, oily skin, you don't want to add any type of oil on top of it. You want a solution that will really just not interfere with any issue you may have with your skin already. This looks like the one for you. And as soon as this product was released, obviously I went to YouTube to see if anybody had used it, if anyone has any experience with it. The videos I found were so far people who had this product gifted to them about a month or so ago. Just want you to know that I purchased this myself. It was released on the 7th. I purchased it on the 8th. I've been using it for 1 full week, twice a day. So my review is just completely honest, how I've had results, what I've found for research. This isn't a sponsored video. This isn't an ad, and it wasn't gifted. And since I did this a little bit backwards and I was pretty excited to use it for the first time after I received it in the mail, I applied this after I washed my face. I used just the normal thing that I wash my face with, which was the Malaysia Hyaluronic face wash, just a very gentle face wash product, nothing intense. And I let my skin dry and then applied this. Let my skin dry after that, and then applied my eye cream. This is the Biossance Marine Algae Eye Cream. I use these products anyway, so I just wanted to make sure that everything was the same, basically, as long as they weren't a problem with interacting. And I also used my Ordinary Natural Moisturizing Factors plus beta glucan. This is really great for someone who has oily skin or blemish-prone skin or congested skin. It's great for anybody, but it's a very gel-like product, and I researched and made sure that they won't cause any interaction, all these, as far as like something negative. And I made sure that between each product I let my skin dry and it was able to absorb properly before I added the moisturizer on top. And that was my PM usage. And let's get into the AM, because that's really important for someone like me who uses a lot of skincare and also uses makeup and SPF. And I want to make sure everything can apply up properly and not interfere with each other. So again, I did wash my face, I used Aquanil because I use that in the AM. It's super gentle. It has no residue left on the skin. It has no active ingredient, so it's not going to interfere with this product as well. And when my skin was dry, I applied the drops and waited for everything to absorb into my skin. Then I applied my marine algae eye cream as usual, and I did something a little different afterwards, which was applying my benzoyl peroxide gel. This is because I have issues with breakout prone skin, and I have to use this every single day or my skin will erupt and break out. It's the only thing that really controls my skin congestion and irritation as far as acne. And then I used my 5% urea moisturizer on top. I ended up using two things that are not necessarily advised to be used, and I'll mention why when I go through the interactions and products that are encouraged to use with the growth factor and products that are discouraged to use with it. But just so you know, I didn't have any skin irritation after I used the urea and the benzoyl peroxide at the same time. It didn't really cause any issues, and that's really key for me because I do have super sensitive skin and rosacea, which is basically a super sensitive skin type, and I'll have like a major redness reaction, and that was really important. It was fine for me to know if I would have that type of reaction, and it's something I think if you're going to use products with the growth factor, just test it out first in a small area of your skin and wait to see if you have any major reaction to it or if it interferes at all with your skincare. And the website says that upon your very first usage, you should see instantly healthier looking skin. You should see an immediate improvement on the look of rough skin and an enhancement in skin radiance. Did I notice that upon the first usage? No, but my second usage I did, and that's because my first time applying it was PM. I applied it, I added my skincare on top, and I went to bed. So I didn't really notice anything different. But on the AM usage, I did notice it did make my skin a little bit more glowy. I wasn't able to use any of my normal oils because of the interaction, which I'll get into later. So this did help with a little bit of a radiance. It wasn't like the same as using the vitamin C oil, but it was still apparent and it was still there. I followed with the usual skincare products that I normally use, and I found that everything applied really smoothly. I did my normal under eye brightener, concealer. There was no cakiness. It didn't interfere with my makeup. I used the CC screen from Supergoop. It didn't interfere with that as well. Everything just laid normally and nicely. And I did see that tiny little boost, but normally in the morning, I'm going to apply my vitamin C squalane oil. And that's what makes my skin really glowy and healthy looking every single day. Because this has vitamin C, it can't be used at the same time. It says on the website that week 1, you should see a visible wrinkle repair. Visibly repairs wrinkles in 1 week. It has been a week. Today is actually my 15th application actually. So it's been 15 full times, 7 full days. This is what I've noticed so far within 1 week. As far as around my eyes, there's a bit of creasing and crinkling when I smile. I've seen only a little bit improvement at the under part right here. My forehead lines, as far as like, I have really a lot of dynamic lines because I move my forehead a lot. They're exactly the same. Where I've seen the most changes already, which is kind of surprising me, is right here around my mouth. I noticed this on day 5 actually. So today is day 7, kind of day 8. Right here, it's a little bit like puffy. It looks a little bit more plump. That's kind of where I've noticed the biggest change. And right under here, this area has plumped up a little bit. One area where I've noticed the most difference, again, day 5 seemed to be like, oh, I see something happening here, was right here on my neck. There's a little bit of crepiness happening, and it's because of all the computer usage and looking down. My computer's actually in front of me right now, and the downward look has done a little bit of skin damage right here because of that like muscle, just like that pull. I've been doing the exercises, the Dr. Berg exercises, to try and strengthen the fascia and strengthen that area, but the skin on top as well, it needs a little bit of a boost. That I noticed a slight plumping. That was day 5, so we're on day 7. Technically day 8. That area has changed a tiny bit, and I'm telling you, I've tried so many skincare products and I haven't seen anything change it except this so far. So if this continues to improve that appearance, you're going to hear from me about this for sure. What to expect from week 2 is visible skin regeneration helps repair visible skin damage. That's week 2. And also week 4 is the biggie with firming and lifting. Firms the face and neck in 4 weeks, and jawline looks more lifted. Barrier support, skin stronger, more resilient with 1 use. We already went through that. Wrinkle reduction shown after 10 weeks on website, and I'm thinking maybe the forehead, between the eyes, and then under the eyes. I think 10 weeks is pretty average, 8 to 10 weeks to see any major changes as far as wrinkles in your skin with any type of product. That's kind of what we're used to in general with any type of retinols and things like that. You have a good 2 to 3 months that you're going to wait before you see any major changes. Now, you need to be using this consistently. They want you to use it twice a day. Unfortunately, for people like me who have specific skincare products they need to use, some of those products are going to interact with this, so I'm going to go over those. I took the opportunity to ask them as well about benzoyl peroxide because it's such an important product for me and dealing with breakout prone skin. They responded that because it's normally a prescription product, even though this one isn't, you can get this without a prescription, they don't advise to use it without doctor approval. I totally understand because within growth factors, this is an anti-aging product, and most likely a lot of people are not using acne products at the same time, but there are a lot of us that have breakout prone skin, acne prone skin at the same time as aging. So it's not like age specific. Acne can pick on anybody. So it's really important for me to know if these can work well together, and I've been using this every single day. So it's my 7th application or 8th application with the benzoyl peroxide. There's been no redness or peeling or breakouts. I haven't noticed any change. It seems to be working well together, but as far as if one cancels out the other, this hasn't canceled out the usage of the benzoyl peroxide. I know within a couple days because my skin will start breaking out. As far as the growth factors, I'm not entirely sure. So I've been sticking to like the T-zone area where I have the most breakouts and keeping the growth factor in like a separate area from it. And benzoyl peroxide was my first concern, but I have several other products that I want to make sure that they can work together really well with the growth factors or not make any type of contradictory effects to it. And that's really important because if you're using multiple skincare products, you want to make sure that you're layering them, not only layering them properly, but they don't interact with each other as far as one canceling out the other. If you're using something with retinol and the growth factor at the same time, you're investing money in your skin, but using them together, one may cancel out the other. The same thing with vitamin C. So there's like many active ingredients. You want to definitely not waste money and time and effort if they cancel out each other or cause major skin irritation. To start, these are the things that you should be using in a separate routine, which means like how I mentioned my benzoyl peroxide, I'm going to be using it in the AM and try to kind of separate the two together as far as my application on my face. But you can use something in the AM and something in the PM and just not let them interact with each other. They said do not use direct acids. That would be your exfoliating acids, your BHAs, AHAs, mandelic acid, and lactic acid. The Paula's Choice BHA salicylic acid, which is a really great product to use again for acne breakout prone skin. You don't want to be using these at the same time. They'll cancel each other out and cause irritation. The same with AHAs, alpha hydroxy acids, glycolic acids. Again, don't use these at the same time. If you really need to use them or use them once or twice a week, make sure you use this maybe in the PM and just use the growth factor in the AM. And they did mention vitamin C. That's another contradictory ingredient. You don't want to be using this at the same time, which is a bummer because I love this vitamin C moisturizer, but more importantly, I love the oil. So don't use this at the same time. If you need to use these in the day, just stick to the growth factor in the PM. They didn't specifically mention urea, so I haven't found that anywhere. If I find any information on that, I'll be mentioning that at a later date, but just to be careful, I'm not going to be using this all over my face at the same time or just like keep it to certain areas of my skin. More importantly, what can you use this? I'm going to go in order of layering with what they recommend. So I used this first, and then I love adding an eye cream after. And the Biossance eye cream was obviously my eye cream of choice. Just make sure that one you're using doesn't have alpha hydroxy acids, glycolic acid, or mandelic or lactic acid or vitamin C. So you can add any eye cream you want on top of that. Just make sure it doesn't have those direct acids. And since you would probably use this in order of this product first and then adding your serums, you can absolutely add the amino acids plus B5. This is a really popular product on Ordinary's website. I ran out of mine, so I'm probably not going to repurchase because I'm just going to stick to using this for now. But they also really highly recommend using one of the serums that has hyaluronic acid or niacinamide. So these products that have those types of acids, even though it says it's an acid, hyaluronic acid, it's actually an hydrator, and the niacinamide is a hydrator as well. You're next probably going to want to layer your moisturizer. If you don't use any of these serums and you just skip to moisturizer, or you do a serum and then moisturizer, this is the next step. And I really enjoy this one from The Ordinary, Natural Moisturizing Factors. It works really well if you have oily skin, and it worked really well with this growth factors. They have another moisturizer, I can't remember what it's called. It's thicker. I used it before, but I'm really liking that one because my skin is so oily, so those work really well together. And two other moisturizers that will work just fine are Biossance Squalane Probiotic Gel Moisturizer or the Biossance Squalane Ectin Overnight Moisturizer. This is excellent. Those will work really nicely together as well. And so many people asked about the peptides, arginine, copper peptides, multi-peptide serum. They said yes to all of them. You can use those after you add the growth serum. More surprisingly, they said it's okay to use their retinols. Because it's an Ordinary retinol product, I know that they tested all their products with it, and they said yes, absolutely, and you can use it with retinoin, retin-A, retinol, retinoids at the same time, which is quite remarkable. But just make sure that when you apply this first, wait for it to dry, wait for it to absorb into the skin, just so there's no additional irritation. We know with tretinoin, you have to wait 10 to 15 minutes anyway after your skin is dried. They won't interact with each other as far as causing any contradictory problems or irritation. And that's really good news for anyone who wants to continue with their tretinoin or their retinols, retin-A's, retinoids, and not stopping that usage. And you just want to have that extra boost that's coming from the growth factor. It has been a hot minute since I've been really intrigued by a skincare product, especially a new one. And so far this one's got me, and I will be doing a follow-up, probably that 4-week mark, because the website does say I should see some improvements as far as like week by week, but 4 weeks should be enough to know whether or not something is really happening. Thinking the 10-week mark is going to be where you're really going to see those major improvements as far as lines. I will be doing a follow-up, and it'll be quite thorough on what I have experienced with pictures. So definitely subscribe if you haven't yet, and also let me know in the comments below what you're thinking, if you've used something like this before, what you recommend, what your experience was. I definitely would love to hear from you.